The man called me outside.
Hmm?
I know the vibes.
They say there were numerous warning signs, including a video posted on social media appearing to show Keaira being physically abused.
She just bought a bulletproof vest 2 days ago, posted it on Facebook.
And she took a picture last night and said, if this isn't a cry for help, I don't know what is. Buffalo Police Department. She said if anything ever happens to her, she will not rest in peace.
On September 29th, 30-year-old mother of three, Keaira Hudson, posted a chilling 7-minute video to Facebook of her being brutally beaten by her husband, Adam Benefield. The video, which captured the moments before, during, and after the brutal attack, was captioned, "This is what this man does to me, but I'm always treated like I'm the abuser." Later that day, she then posted, "Don't underestimate me. I am a Hudson. We were born strong, but I also know when to play weak, and it saved my life. I was smart enough to get myself out of that situation alive." Rewinding back to February 22nd of this year, Keaira reflected on the day she and Adam married, stating, "This was really the best day of my life. I never felt more beautiful, special, loved. I got a lifetime friend and partner who loves me with every breath. He has given me a beautiful dream wedding. I love you, Adam, forever." Months later, around 8:30 a.m. on October 5th, just 1 week after posting the horrifying video to Facebook, everything would come to a tragic end.
Buffalo police telling us that a woman was shot and killed this morning near Rich Lawn and Shawnee Avenue. Now that's just blocks from ECMC and in front of a school bus stop. This was around 8:30 this morning. I spoke with family members who say it was their loved one, 30-year-old Keaira Hudson, who was killed. They tell me the young mother was shot in her car in front of her 3 children. They say she was married and a victim of domestic violence. And they tell me they know who killed her.
After dropping off her children, Keaira was expected to attend court later that day to dispute Benefield's request for custody of the kids, but she never ended up making it to her appointment. According to Keaira's family, she had been living in fear of her husband due to incidents of physical and verbal abuse before and after their marriage, even informing others that she believed he would eventually kill her. Her husband, 45-year-old Adam Benefield, had a bad temper long before the two were married, but he always apologized whenever he hit her and always promised to change. Keaira's family never approved of the marriage. They were scared for her and even tried convincing her to rethink their plans on getting married. But Keaira always felt as if she was fine and could handle the situation. Perhaps like many others, she felt that marriage would change things. Sadly, the abuse only became more frequent and even more violent. On September 28th, Adam threatened Keaira at their home with a knife, beat her brutally, took her phone, and refused to let her leave their home. As she bled out on the floor, he took pictures of her in her battered state. It was the very next day that Keaira would post the graphic video to Facebook. After the incident, she managed to escape from the home the two shared and began staying with her mother. During this time, Benefield would continue stalking and threatening to kill her, leading Keaira to finally file a restraining order against him. She even began wearing a bulletproof vest. He was eventually arrested, but released from custody on his own recognizance the very next day, October 4th, just 1 day before he would brutally murder Keaira in front of her own children. After his October 4th arrest, he was charged with several misdemeanors, including assault, which are not bail eligible. A stay-away order was also issued by a judge. Police immediately began searching for Benefield as officials explained why he was released from custody the day before the killing and called on New York to change its bail laws to prevent similar tragedies. The assault case against Benefield evolved after the initial call to Benefield's Barbara Place residence on September 28th, where a woman identified as 30-year-old Keaira Benefield said she'd been punched by her husband. Because of the condition in which officers found Benefield locked in the bathroom, he was taken to Erie County Medical Center for medical and psychological evaluation. Cheektowaga police filed a warrant for Benefield's arrest after he left the medical center. According to a release from the Erie County District Attorney's Office, Benefield reportedly displayed a knife and box cutter during the incident and was accused of preventing Keaira from leaving the residence and taking her cell phone to prevent a call for help. The charges against Benefield worsened as the Cheektowaga Police Department's domestic violence advocate and detectives uncovered more information later in the week. Keaira told the domestic violence advocate that she had suffered injuries and had video of the incident. On the night of October 2nd, Keaira called police again when she believed an intruder was in her home. When police arrived and did not find anyone, she showed law enforcement a video showing a more severe instance of domestic violence than what was originally reported to an officer on September 28th. She met with detectives the next day to discuss new evidence, and detectives decided to upgrade the initial charges to misdemeanors. Detectives reached Benefield, who turned himself in Tuesday, October 4th. When Benefield was released after the arraignment, the domestic violence advocate worked with Keaira to find safe housing, at which time she decided to stay at her mother's home. Keaira did everything she could to protect herself from her husband, but nothing seemed as if it were enough. She expressed her frustration with police in a Facebook post stating, "I swear the cops aren't worth anything. This is crazy. They need a dead body before they help. I'm calling and begging them to help me. They are useless." The homicide occurred the very next day. Detectives stated that Benefield did not pull over for Buffalo police after the incident, maneuvering through a congested area and entering the Kensington Expressway headed in the wrong direction. Police later found his vehicle and gathered evidence.
She's just been trying to get help. I've been with her, going to police stations. She's been texting me, sending me videos, giving me her phone password just in case.
Montasia Jeter says her sister, Keaira Hudson, was in an abusive relationship, even posting a disturbing video on social media that shows her getting beaten up. Jeter says her sister was staying with her mother because she feared for her life.
She's been staying at my mom's house for the last 2 days, and that she was going to go to court today because he was trying to get custody.
But she never made it to court or work. Family members telling me Keaira strapped on a bulletproof vest before leaving the house Wednesday morning, got in her SUV with her 3 kids, and was on her way to drop them off at school when she was shot and killed.
He must have been stalking her. My mom asked her, "Why are you putting that vest on?" She said, "Because, Mom, he's going to kill me. You don't understand." And as soon as she went around the corner, he killed her. He smashed into the front of her car in front of a school bus and got out the car with a shotgun and shot her and pulled off.
Her ex-boyfriend and father of one of the kids in the SUV tells me this should have never happened.
I know he was arrested a couple days ago for domestic violence.
I think your daughter was in that car.
Yes, she was.
And she saw what happened.
Yes, she did. And there was 2 other kids in the car.
Where's your daughter now?
In the house.
Is she okay?
Yes, ma'am. She would call every once in a while and ask questions and saying, "What should I do?" And the video was posted on Facebook. Everybody's seen it. Everybody was trying to help her, and this is what happens.
The video you sent me was posted on Facebook.
Yes, it was.
She said if anything ever happens to her, she would not rest in peace.
This man was a criminal. They should have never let him out.
Hudson's family believes bail reform is to blame. I spoke with New York State Assembly Majority Leader Crystal Peoples-Stokes, who is a strong supporter of bail reform.
At the end of the day, bail reform is about not incarcerating people prior to a trial. There's a lot of things they could have done with that gentleman besides let him go.
But the clerk for the Cheektowaga judge that did let him go tells our I-team Judge James Spire's hands were tied because of bail reform, saying the charges, all misdemeanors, were non-qualifying offenses. The victim's family says they won't stop until justice is served. They say there were numerous warning signs, including a video posted on social media appearing to show Keaira being physically abused.
She just bought a bulletproof vest 2 days ago, posted it on Facebook.
And she took a picture last night and said, "If this isn't a cry for help, I don't know what is." Buffalo Police Department. Nobody did anything. Nobody has been doing anything.
And now she mentioned the police. Now the captain of the Cheektowaga Police Department speaking moments ago saying his officers did all they could legally. He says a domestic violence advocate was working with Hudson. He also said it is, quote, frustrating when you try, you have so many steps in place and you know somebody is in danger. You know there's a clear and present danger, yet the court has no option but to let this person back out into our community, end quote.
Chief Gold of the Cheektowaga Police Department just told us about how this issue within Cheektowaga started. It started back on September 28th when police were called to the family's home for a complaint that Adam had punched Keaira in the face, and police were called to deal with that situation. When they got there, Benefield was locked in the bathroom. Once he came out of the bathroom, he was brought to ECMC for a medical and a psychological evaluation. During that time, they issued a warrant for his arrest, and on Thursday, a domestic violence advocate made contact with Keaira. And she showed her a video of the injuries and the actual assault that took place. The domestic violence advocate told her to send that video to police. By Friday, they still had not had the video and arranged for a meeting with the victim on Monday. By Tuesday, the suspect turned himself in, and he was arraigned and released because the charges that were put against him did not qualify for bail. Police say that is frustrating.
New York State is the last state that doesn't take into account the dangerousness of a defendant to the community when considering bail. That is something that we've asked for. That is something that we will continue to ask for, and we hope that our elected officials consider those changes.
A look into Benefield's criminal history revealed that he had been in prison from about 2000 to 2015 for the attempted kidnapping of 2 women, and then an escape from Erie County Correctional Facility in Alden, New York in 2000. Benefield, described as mentally troubled at the time of his 2000 arrest, drove a stolen car to cut off the vehicle of his estranged girlfriend. He then forced the girlfriend at gunpoint to drive to Grand Island with police chasing them. Benefield, who was 22 at the time, then escaped the correctional facility by climbing over a 15-foot fence and a roll of razor wire at the top, and was at large for 19 hours. When police traced the manhunt to a friend's home, Benefield locked himself inside of the home, cut his wrist with a kitchen knife, and threatened to blow up the building with fumes from a gas stove. His trial was delayed due to a psychiatric evaluation. During a news conference on Thursday, Buffalo police urged anyone who encounters Adam Benefield to call 911, but not to interact with him as he is considered armed and dangerous. Crime Stoppers Buffalo is offering a $7,500 reward for information leading to his whereabouts. A GoFundMe was created by Keaira's family to cover child care expenses for all 3 of Keaira's children.
To be discussing the deadly impacts of the worst law in the history of New York State. 3 children woke up again this morning without their mother. That is, if they even were able to sleep or to get a wink of sleep after being inches from her when she was executed in cold blood by a man who had no business being free. Keaira Hudson knew exactly what would happen, and she was begging and pleading for anyone to listen, to act, to the point that she wore a bulletproof vest, driving her children to school. Has a thought like that entered anyone in this room's mind? And if that's not the biggest indictment on how our system is failing people when they feel that they need to strap on a bulletproof vest to transport their children to school, then I don't know what is. Now, sadly, that bulletproof vest couldn't stop Adam Benefield. The only thing that could have stopped him is if he was behind bars in a jail cell. And the only thing that could have stopped him was a judge with the power to use his discretion and said, you are too dangerous to roam our streets. But thanks to cashless bail and the dismantling of our criminal justice system in the state of New York, Adam Benefield was arrested on a slew of domestic violence charges. And he walked out the door a free man on his own recognizance, where just 24 hours later, he stalked and he murdered his wife with her children in the back seat. Now, if this doesn't outrage you, if this doesn't scream wrong to you, I don't know what kind of society we're living in anymore.